Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. Sorry, I'm really loud today. That's just me. Sorry about that. Just adjusting the mics a little bit. It is 3 p.m. here in Chicago, and it's Tuesday, January 26th, 2021. It's time for another live stream. Because it is Tuesday, we are going to be doing Trivia Tuesday, and today's theme for trivia is the World Marathon Majors. Lots of big news happening, and let me hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to go get them. I'll be right back real quick. All right, I'm back. Give me 1 second to get my earbuds back in. These take forever to put in, but I wanted to make sure I had them to show you guys. I don't know that I needed to show you guys. I mean, you saw them yesterday if you were on the live stream. But the giveaway for today at the end of trivia will be the rest of my box of this. So I did have one of these yesterday to test them out for the Monday mukbang. These are Emma Abrahamson's bars. They're sold out. They're tough to get. As soon as they restock, they sell out immediately. But I wanted to share them with you guys because we normally don't keep a lot of peanut things in the house because of the fact that we have a peanut allergy here. So I had one yesterday to taste, and now I'm going to give the rest of them away. And I'll do that. These bars, which are very tasty, peanut butter and coffee, 16 grams of protein, 23 grams of carb, a little bit of salt in there too. So I think a really good pre or post run type of bar. So we'll do that giveaway. Awesome. Let's see who's here today. Before I do that, let's say hi to everyone, though, that's listening on the podcast. Welcome, everybody, on the audio-only version. Hopefully you guys are having a good run or a good commute home or just enjoying whatever else you're doing while you're listening in. And same with everyone watching on YouTube after the fact. Welcome. Glad to have you guys here. All right. Looks like we got Casey. Well, let's see. Before we had Casey, we had Philip Bourne was here first today. Did a speedy 10K on the trail today. Oh, I think I'm going to get my cowbell out. I'm slow on the draw for this one. But we've got, looks like a PR today with a new PB of 5K of 20 minutes. Awesome. And 14 seconds. So a PB. That was a weak cowbell. Why was it so little? Let's try it again. There we go. That's a good cowbell. 20 minutes, 14 seconds. Awesome. And a 10K PB by 38 seconds. And he did a 3K warm-up, 5K hanging over Jira Live short rest, and the rest 2K easy. Pace to our swim. Wow. Great work today. Nice. Me, he says, I was watching the Whoop review. Reminded me of the app that tells you when to drink, but it might be wrong. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, there's the Whoop. I do like the Whoop a lot. I just think that the biggest flaw is like the central component of it is that maybe not flaw is the right word, but like because I can't get a really reliable reading from the wrist, whether it's because like, I got like tiny little arms or my skin tone, whatever it is, that just messes up all the other stuff. So I kind of throw things off. Otherwise, I kind of like what it's doing. And I think that if I got a very accurate heart rate reading from the wrist, I might keep it as a secondary device. But still, it's just, I found myself not really looking at the data after a while. So I don't know. I still don't think I would, even if I had good readings. Janice here says it's snowing outside. It's still snowing here too. We've got lots of lake. We had a storm last night. And now it's like we're getting like some kickback, some lake effect snow. So like all the snow when I was out there was the painful and unpleasant kind. And now it's like the big puffy flakes that like sit on the trees and make everything look nice and festive. So there's that. So I think tomorrow's run will be nice and snowy though. So that'll be fun. And me, he said enough snow for him this season. Yeah, there's been a lot. Chicago hasn't really seen too much snow. Iowa just got tons of it, and I feel like I was there for all of it. Rick Sutters here says, what's good, fellow Kafusians? Martha's here as well. Good to see you, Martha. Martha wants to know, did I get the notice from the BAA? Yes, I did. Boston announced that it's going to hold the Boston Marathon, assuming that it can. It picked the date of October 11th, right? October something. Yeah, I think 11th is the date. Also today I got, or maybe it was like late last night, I got my application approved for the Chicago Marathon, which is the day before the Boston Marathon. So like, it's kind of like, oh, I mean, I don't know that it would have changed me like signing up for it, but at least I would have, it would have been nice to have known that beforehand. I've already seen some people, I don't know if they're joking or not, trying to sign up for both and assuming they can get in, going to Boston on Friday, picking up your bib, flying to Chicago on Saturday, getting your bib for that race, running on Sunday in Chicago, and then flying like right away to Boston to run another marathon the next day. I mean, it's doable. I mean, assuming the flights don't book or fill up, I think that technologically and logistically it's doable, but I mean, like, that's tough. I mean, you're better off just like going to Boston to hang out rather than race, I think. But it's going to be crazy. And because of all that happening today, that's why the theme for today is going to be, for Trivia Tuesday, is going to be the World Marathon Majors. All right. We'll do one more. Albert Long said, got meetings, won't be able to attend the live stream. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Awesome. Well, have a good meeting, Albert. Hopefully you'll catch it later. What was that? I was going to say something before we went into it, but you know what? We'll just get into the trivia. Oh, what I wanted to do is anyone that's new here today, if your first time live stream or if you first couple of times of the live stream, welcome. If you have any running questions, feel free to just drop them into the chat. I'll take a look at it. If I miss it the first time around, like if it looks like I haven't answered it, feel free to put it in there a second time. Sometimes the chat goes too fast for me to catch all the questions, but I want to make sure I answer any question for people that came here with a question in mind. And, it's a lot of runners here, a lot of people that run and do other things as well, but we're all just hanging out. We don't always talk about running. Today is a running theme just because some major dates got announced, but welcome everyone. I hope you have a good time. All right, let's get to the first question for today. I'm going to skip through some of these other chats. Yeah, Cal Runs Boulder says so many races crowding the fall. Yep. All right, we're gonna talk all about that today. The trivia is designed to discuss all of that. All right, so let's start with question number one. There's no points, and this one, I usually try to make it so that way everyone can, even if you don't know too much about any particular subject, you can guess. This one was a little bit harder because the specific subject is World Marathon Majors, but hopefully there's some guessing that can still be done. Wrong answers are always encouraged. All right, so with the announcement today of, I believe it was today that was announced, Boston being held October 10th. Chicago had announced a little while ago that if it can do it, it's going to be October 11th. A lot of you guys are talking about some of the other marathons too. Question number one is, how many marathon majors or major marathons will be held in October of 2021? So your answers are between like two. I already told you two. So between 2 and there's 6 marathon majors. So I guess, well, there could be more than that, but kind of. But between 2 for normal people, between 2 and 6. What are some of your answers? I think some of you guys already know this already. All right. Teddy Man Tactical wants to know, Kobuzi, have you ever run in a wind flow? I've not ever run in a wind flow before. The wind flow seems to be the wind flow for a while seemed to be like 2 generations old Pegasus. And so I'd always just tell people, just buy last year's Pegasus. It seems to have been like changing and like developing into a line in and of itself. And so like I haven't looked at it recently, but it seems to be getting more and more interesting. But generally I would say like if you're looking at the Windflow because it's cheaper than a Pegasus, buy last year's Pegasus is generally how I kind of recommend for people. All right. So now so many people have answered 4 that I'm now worried that I did the math wrong, but I think my answer is right. I think Leona's the first one to have it with 3. So my understanding it's London on October 3rd, Chicago on October 10th, and then Boston on October 11th. Then there's what else? So are the other New York is in November. I think Berlin is in September. And then when is Tokyo? I'm gonna have to look this up. Hold on. I looked up the schedule on Wikipedia, and they had them all kind of listed out there. Yeah, so Tokyo. Oh, wait. Oh, the correct answer is 4. Sorry, my mistake. Because Tokyo is the following weekend. Oh, you guys were. So it was Cameron. Cameron had it right. Man, it's going to be so insane. So basically 3 weekends, 4 marathon majors. Oh, boy. Insane. Yeah. Ooh. Someone asked me. Yeah. So someone asked me how far Boston is. I saw it a little while ago. How far Boston is from Chicago, and it is about like I want to say probably like 1,000 to 1,100 miles of driving. So probably like a couple hours flight. So I mean, it's not close. It's not super far, but it's not like something that you can hop in a car and do. Brett says, doing Boston, Chicago the same weekend sounds like something marathon maniacs would do. Some of them 3 marathons in a long weekend if logistics allow. That's insane. I can't imagine it. Yeah, Joshua Carr. October 17th for Tokyo. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, I missed one. So I was wrong on my answer. Eventually, the answer is 4. Ooh, yeah. I mean, Tokyo, it's going to be insane for Tokyo from a marathon perspective because the Olympic marathon is going to be in August, right? And then that spins around real fast, getting ready for the Tokyo Marathon in October. Andreas Kaluza says, which is more fun, Boston or Chicago? I'm not sure. Oh, cool. You're going to show everybody? She made a little cucumber with Play-Doh, a cucumber slice. There it is. Good job. I think I can see it. Do you see it? Mm-hmm. Looks nice. Can you make some ice cream? Thank you. I've never run Boston before. Last year was going to be my first time, and so I haven't done it. Chicago is a lot of fun. We made ice cream earlier with the Play-Doh, with a little extruder, so it was nice and yummy. Thank you. So I mean, I'm biased for Chicago because I live here, and the race goes right in front of my building, and I've run it several times, and I just absolutely love it. I'm probably going to say, well, I don't know. I might give it to Boston just because I feel like it's a different kind of energy. I feel like maybe, familiarity breeds contempt kind of thing. We'll see. I don't think that 2021 is going to be my year. I mean, I may still try to apply because then it's like, well, I mean, if Chicago won't be able to run a marathon in October, then Boston probably won't either. That's kind of like my gut feeling. Like, part of me is like, do I try to get into both and like see which one of the two I can run in? But I have a feeling that if one can't go, neither will. All right, let's see. Janet Tan says, she wants me to open up the play. Janet Tan wants to know, saw your runs on Strava. Oh, I miss running by the lakefront in Chicago. Oh, cool. Yeah, I missed it a lot. I wasn't here for the last like 7 months, so it's been really nice. I'm making up for lost time, for sure. Jacob says 76-degree weather here. Where'd it go? Sorry. Jacob says 76 degrees here in San Antonio. Summer is back. Wow, that sounds hot. And Man to Ironman says, I just started Marathon running. Got to run at 620 per kilometer for a heart rate, 154 at age 26. My normal pace is around 515 on half marathon training runs. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what 620 per kilometer translates to. Was that like 9 something per mile? No, it's probably like 10 minutes per mile, right? That's about right because 515 is in the 8 somethings. Yeah, so that sounds about right. That's kind of like where I went. I think my initial starting at Marathon was a lot slower than that. But yeah, it sucks. But, right now when there aren't races and there aren't like a ton of training groups and stuff, although I saw lots of training groups out on Saturday in Chicago. But when there aren't a ton of those, now's like a pretty good time to be embarking on that journey. All right, let's see. PG1980 says, hi, Cozy, how's it going? Nice hat. Thanks. It's the Shamrock Shuffle. a Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle hat. It's been a good one. I like it. I'm a big fan of a good palm. I don't know why I like it. Mark Annette says, Twin Cities Marathon is my version of the Super Bowl. It runs past our house and we live on the course. It's a party and we look forward to it every year and wouldn't miss it for Boston. Oh, that's awesome. That's cool. I didn't know it was the same weekend. I mean, yeah, I just feel like, I don't know if that's going to, like every marathon is going to, I mean, every weekend there's going to be tons of marathon options. So I think that's good, but it'll be interesting to see like what, I mean, on the one hand, like attendance, I feel like will be up because everyone will want to be doing them. But on the other hand, it's like if there's so many events, does it pull people away? You know. Ilyas Hamza says, "You're my inspiration, Kavuz. You're running from Morocco." Well, thank you. That's very flattering. Welcome. Glad to see you in the live stream. Hope you've been enjoying your running lately. David Lidstone's here. What's going on, David? And Mark Peterson says, "If you ran the tunnel marathon again, would you wear the next percent again, or would you switch it up?" The next percent would be a great option. I do think that the Alpha Fly could also really work for that race, as could the Adios Pro. I did run today in that Craft carbon-plated shoe. That would definitely be a good option as well. I think that would actually be a really great option. I might pick that if I had that as an option to me for the tunnel marathon. But you can certainly do like a road carbon-plated shoe for the tunnel marathon because the course is really buffed out. It's access roads. So like, even though it's like technically a trail and dirt, it's very flat. Definitely unless it's muddy out. Like if it were like really, really wet that day, that might give me some pause. But I feel like the day that we ran it, I just felt like it was damp. It wasn't really super dry. All right. Let's see. Faris Syed says, "Is the Nike Zoom Fly 3 better or ASICS Nova Blast? What do you recommend?" I think that they're two things. It's like, I don't know. One is more for performance and one is more for everyday. Some people use them kind of interchangeably. Most people, I would say, don't. The Zoom Fly 3 is, I think, a very specialized shoe for long, fast runs. That's kind of where I like to use it. The ASICS Nova Blast is kind of for easy days, long runs that are not that rigorous, or shorter runs that I'm really just getting out there to get the legs moving, a recovery run, easy day. So that's kind of how I use them. So I think of it as like one is like a 5-iron and one is more like a pitching wedge, if the golf analogy makes more sense, or like paring knife and chef's knife. So, all right. Teddy Man says, "Is the Craft carbon plate better than the Hoka Carbon X2? I think I like it more. The Carbon X2 is just different. It has a weird like catching sensation, which is really nice and pleasant. But the Craft Carbon is more like a traditional carbon plated shoe. I'll talk about it a lot more in tomorrow's video. But I mean, I feel like the best way I can kind of like describe it is it feels kind of like it's somewhere in between the Endorphin Speed and the Endorphin Pro. The foam is a little bit on the stiffer side, so it kind of reminds me of the Endorphin Pro. That's a little bit denser. But the carbon is a little bit nicer for me and kind of like my size and speed. The other way I was like thinking about it is that it's kind of like a trail Endorphin Pro. That's kind of how I feel about it. It seems taller than it too, though. Rob Van Spowen says, "Do you use the Vaporfly X% for training or only for racing?" I think that you can. I don't think there's a wrong answer for that. I've used it for training and for racing. I think that it has pretty decent durability for a racing shoe. A lot of people, depending on how much racing you're doing, might save it only for their races and then train in something like the Zoom Fly 3 that someone was mentioning earlier for your training runs. So it's, I think a lot of it's a matter of preference. I don't think that there's a huge like rationale that mandates one or the other. And I'll do more question, and then we'll get to the next question in the trivia. Roberto Davila wants to know, did you get their Mach 4s yet? Not yet, but I'm working on it. I'm talking to the people that sent me the Carbon X2, and we're gonna see if I can get a pair. Going back to like versus the Carbon X2, I think overall, yeah, just watch out for that. I do think the Carbon X2 is a better overall shoe than the Craft one. But if the question was, I think, I need something to poke this. I think the question previously was about the carbon fiber plate, and I do like the Craft Carbon a little bit better. All right, let's go to the next question for today. So we were talking about how many, how close all, like the question was how many marathon majors were going to be in October. 4 of them are in October. How many days separate all 6 of the marathon majors in 2021? So 4 of them are in October in like a 3-weekend kind of period of time. How many days separate all 6 of them though? Martha says 11. It's not quite that close, but it feels close. Yeah, Chris Dyke says the Welsh runner uses his older Vaporflies for training. He recently did a vid about it. Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people do it. My general rule has been I'm happy to toe the line with 125 miles or so on a pair of Vaporflies. So then it would take me to like 150. And then I think after 150, they're great for probably about another 100 miles. For training. That's kind of how I feel about it. All right, we got some numbers pouring in for how many days between the first and last marathon major in 2021. This is a weird year. Inez says 45. Carlos says 60. 68 from Leona. Ryan says 12. Going low, like with like Martha. Joshua says 257. It's not quite that big of a spread. Same with Oren. He's got 174. Oren, how you guys doing? How are you and your family doing? Rain Runner says 21, and Shannon says 175 days. The answer that I have, I did to kind of like do my own math on it, and then we'll see how good it was, is I believe there's 35 days in between all 6 marathon majors. So, oh wait, I messed that up again because Berlin's in September, right? So I got to do that again. September 26th, so that's another 4 and 3. Yeah. So the answer is, I originally had 35 days, but I think it's 42 days. 42 days between, so I think Innes was the closest one. He had 45. So 42 days, September 26th to November 7th, all 6 marathon majors. Insane, absolutely insane this year. Man, I'm wrong. I'm coming in so bad with my answers here. All right. Yeah, a lot of good guesses here. All right, another question coming in, running question. Teddy Man wants to know, what is better, the newer Zoom Fly 3 or the older Zoom Fly Flynet with React? Both of them have React. Both of them have carbon plate shoes, or have carbon plates in them. It was the Zoom Fly SP and the Zoom Fly like version 1. So version 1 and version like 1.5 had the nylon plate and Lunarlon. Version 2, the Flynet, and 3 had carbon and React. I think that there's 2 ways to look at it, and then I'll give you like my personal preference. I think that the difference between the Next Percent and the Zoom Fly 3 is pretty small. The difference between the Vaporfly 4% and the Zoom Fly Flynet is pretty big. They feel like very different shoes. So I feel like if you're getting 2 of them, like the Next Percent and then the Zoom Fly 3 as like a racer and a training companion, I feel like that is a really good duo. But in terms of like, which shoe do I like better, the Zoom Fly 3 or the Zoom Fly Flynet? I think I like the Zoom Fly Flynet a little bit better. I just really like Flynet. I think that's part of it, but I also feel like the React in the Zoom Fly Flynet was a touch softer. I don't know if there was less of it or what, but it seemed just a touch softer. And so I felt like the carbon really like came through a little bit stronger. So I think I like that one a little bit better. All right. Yeah, Rainer says, I'm still so confused about the different Nike models, Vaporfly versus Zoom Fly. Yeah, well, I mean, the Zoom Fly is gone, right? Because it's replaced with the Tempo Next Percent. So now the word next is in everything. So there's more to be confused about. For a while, I just feel like Nike just kept throwing a whole bunch of words in it. And then Skechers started naming theirs with a whole bunch of words too. And then Nike like backed off and were like, well, maybe let's chill out a little bit. But none of the brands are very good about like how they name it. The names are just always atrocious. I mean, the names that we use to describe, like when like regular people use to describe the shoes is great. But then like, I don't know if like they're doing it for search engine optimization or what, but there's always like 6 words in the name of a shoe. It really drives me insane. All right. Let's get to the next question for today. All right. Number 3. All right. World Marathon Majors became a thing in 2006. As far as I know, I don't remember that happening or not. I wasn't really running at the time. So World Marathon Majors became a thing in 2006 with 5 marathons. Which marathon was added last? So which of the 6 is like, I don't want to say newest. Which one was added? Because I think all the other ones were there in the beginning and then they added a 6th one. Oh, and you guys knew this right away. I figured you guys would. Oh, and here's some news. Kurt says, Traxxer reported that Nike is killing the Tempo Next % and bringing back the Zoom Fly 4. Oh, is it going to have big AirPods in it, though? I mean, shouldn't they just call it the Zoom Fly 5? I feel like they should call it the Zoom Fly 5. And then say, like, the Tempo Next was kind of like a Zoom Fly 4. That's what I think. But I guess they could call it the Zoom Fly 4. I wonder if it's going to have AirPods. All right, Carlos thinks it was Berlin that was added last. That's not right, but Joshua and Jason had it first. Tokyo was the last one added in, I got the year here, in 2013. So in 2013, Tokyo was added as the 6th marathon major. Can you imagine, like, if your big goal, I mean, I guess it was only 7 years long. So it's like, basically it started in 2006 and you had 7 years. Over 7 years, or 6 years, you collected all 5. You were like, I'm done. I've collected them all. And then you're like, and then like the next year, they're like, oh, we're adding a new one. That would be kind of tough. But I assume if you wanted to collect all the World Marathon Majors, you're like, yes, another one to get. Probably. That'd be my guess. 1989 Todd says, what do you think of the new carbon North Face trail shoe? I had no idea that was coming. So that was a real surprise to me. Someone mentioned it on my Instagram story today. Because I ran in the Craft carbon plated shoe, and they were like, what's going to be better, this or the North Face one? And I was like, the North Face one, what's that? So I had to look it up. But yeah, so cool. John Ritchie says, hi, Kofuzi, watching from Ireland. Good vibes. Awesome. Welcome, John. Glad to have you in here today. Mark thinks that they should just toss the AirPods. I mean, I like the way I like them in the Alpha Fly. I'm not gonna. They're goofy. They look weird. They sound weird. It's strange, but I mean, it does what it's supposed to do and does a good job of it, I think. So I'm okay with the AirPods, but I feel like, I don't know, like it seemed weird that they put the same AirPods in the Tempo Next %. I was like, they should have done a different AirPod or some other thing just to like differentiate the two. Like you really got to bump up to that top tier to get the premium kind of performance. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Teddy Man wants to know, why is it called in Zoom if they are React? Yeah. I mean, well, there's Zoom X and then there's Zoom Air. And then some of the shoes they've been calling Air Zoom. Right? So like, I don't know. The weirdest thing for me, like the height of my frustration with Nike naming, or not a frustration, I was like, man, this is a ridiculous space, is when the Turbo came out, version 1, because it had React and it had Zoom X on it. The part of the shoe that they wrote the words Zoom X was on the React, and they didn't write it on, I mean, I'm sure that was for aesthetics, or maybe like practically, maybe like the ink would have come off the Zoom X foam. But like, I was like, they're like, not that they're labeling the different parts of the shoe, but it just seems ironic that they put the word Zoom X on the React foam. So that there's that. I mean, for the Pegasus, they still call it the Pegasus Zoom Air, Nike Air Zoom, or Zoom Air Zoom Pegasus 37. It's because it has a Zoom Air pocket in it. So Zoom Air is supposed to be different than Nike Air, like in the Air Max, or like the what is the Vapor Max. So that's like a regular air bubble that might have some like support pillar type structures in there. Zoom Air looks like there's like muscle fibers inside it, and that's part of what makes it Zoom Air. So it's a little bit different. So just because it has React doesn't mean it has Zoom Air in it. I don't know. I don't think they called, like, for example, like the Zoom Fly. I don't think they ever called that a Zoom, Nike Zoom Flynet. Did they? I don't remember. They could have. I don't know. It's kind of like Adidas and like Adizero. What does that even mean? It just gets thrown in the name of some shoes. Kind of for their performance line usually. But there's some sensibility to it. But it's weird because they're using the same weird, like, made-up word. Not that Zoom is a made-up word, but like kind of like weird word. Not only as like a technology, but also as like a brand. Like a capsule branding kind of term. So it gets confusing for sure. All right. Yeah, Shannon, this Nike Zoom Air Vapor Max knit conversation. Where's the over my head emoji?
Spike and Twilight being older and bigger.
Oh, okay. They grew up? Oh, they're like adults, huh? The baby's watching My Little Pony. Joya Club says, do you keep all your race bibs? No, I just throw them away. One, I don't have space. I suppose if I had space, I could put them up like on a wall or something like this, but I feel like that looks nice for some people. In the bathroom at Heartbreak Run Company, Heartbreak Hill Run Club in Chicago, in the bathroom, they've got them like all up on the wall. It's like a wallpaper. That kind of is nice. I like that. But like I don't really like to collect things too much, so I don't keep them. All right. Oriel29 said, where did the Turbo 3 go? Love the 2. I don't know. It's a big mystery. I don't know who's in charge over there of killing off the Turbo. I mean, yeah, it's weird. It was probably their best shoe in the lineup. I mean, the Vaporflies are good, but in terms of like the daily stuff that you can wear on a regular basis, yeah, the Turbo is selling like crazy. So I don't know. And it says, I'm an electrician, so it's all right when I can't work out Nike names. So when a YouTuber can't work it out, they've got it wrong. Yeah, there's just too many words. We don't need them. I don't know. Let's see. Martha says, I gave 2 bags of race medals to the HR person at our local hospital who knows someone else who gives them to sick kids. I only kept a handful of significant medals and a couple of bibs. Yeah, I think that I've been keeping my medals because the kids have liked to play with them. But at this point, like I brought home so many, but like the novelty is worn off for them. And so like they don't really play with them anymore. They're like, oh, okay, another one of those. So now they're just collecting, not even collecting dust. They're just taking up space in a closet. You're standing a little too close to the TV, hon. Thank you. She's standing at it like this. She's like, is this too close? She's taunting me. But yeah, I don't know what to do with those, but I do think I'm going to get rid of them soon. Let's do one more question. Carla says, will you get the other SL20? Yes. I think now that it's 2021, I'm ready for another SL20. The fact that it's called SL20, weird. Also, Solar Boost is coming back, but they're calling it Solar Boost 3, right? Talking about weird names. There we go. That's another one. Yeah, Solar Boost 19, Solar Boost 20. Wait. So was there? Yeah, Solar Boost 19. We don't think we had a Solar Boost 20. And now we're getting in 2021, Solar Boost 3. I don't know. Really weird. Yeah. Alt Chemo 14 says, what brought back to Chicago? Iowa looked great. Iowa does look great. I know Iowa is a really great place to hide out from a pandemic. For the most part, in a lot of ways. We have some stuff we had to take care of that we couldn't put off any longer here in Chicago. So we're here for a little while. And then once we take care of those things, then we'll kind of like figure out, all right, do we want to like re-quarantine and then head back? Or do we want to ride it out? Good news yesterday. I mean, hopefully it's good news. Biden was saying that, yes, can I have some bread? Mm-hmm. Thanks. Toy bread.
It's magnet.
It's not magnet, it's Velcro.
It's Velcro.
Yeah.
It's Velcro.
Oh, that's too loud. You can't yell into the microphone. That hurts. Yeah, Biden was saying that he thinks that we could get to 1.5 million shots per day.
Velcro.
And that means that anyone that wants a vaccine in the U.S. can get a vaccine by spring. I'm assuming that means June, like June 1st. So if that's the case, if we're on that pace, then we might just stay here and hang out until it's vaccine time. But if it seems like that's not going to happen, then we might go back to Iowa soon. So we'll see. All right. Yep, the camera's up there.
Hi.
All right, that's enough. All right, let's get to the next question for today. Are you uncomfortable? All right, next question. All right, this one, I think you guys will probably get this one, but you have to give 2 answers to get this one right. Of the 6 World Marathon Majors, which of them were actually able to be raced last year? I won't tell you how many. Did I tell you already how many there were? But there was more than one. Yeah. Lots of people are saying hi to you, Gracie.
Hi.
Okay, that's enough. Fanta Fleds Dopke says, any idea if you'll be able to test the A6 Nimbus Lite 2? Almost available, but worth the price, $150 for a daily trainer. I'm not sure if I'm going to get to the A6 Nimbus Lite 2. I feel like it's pretty well covered by a lot of other people, and it's not really jumping out at me. I don't know. There's part of me is just like, I don't like how they have like the regular Nimbus and the Nimbus Lite. I just feel like they should either call it a new shoe, call it something different, or they should just be bold and make the new like Nimbus. What are they on, 23 or something like that? Make that the Nimbus Lite 2. Like pick one, but like this double thing, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's really weird to just get this riled up over naming conventions, given how much we've been talking about how the naming is really weird. You are so wiggly. Why are you so wiggly? Is it because you want to see yourself? Is that what it is? There we go. Okay. All right. So yeah. So I don't know if I'll get to that one. Maybe.
Number 7.
No, we're on question number 5. Question number 5. All right. Question number 5 for today. Other than the 6 marathon majors, what other event or events counts toward the World Marathon Majors series scoring? So, normal people like you and me, we can try and collect our 6 stars. So you can go and try to fly all over the world. Sorry, my hat's all uncomfortable.
Hi.
Okay. You can try and fly all over the world and run and finish all the marathons and get your 6 star. But for the pros, there's like a championship style scoring where you get points for finishing in the different races. That's enough. Points for finishing in the different races, and there's an additional money pot for people that win the series. What other event is there in most years other than the 6 marathon majors? Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Smile.
Chris Dyke says, "Was question 4 answered?" That's a very big smile. I don't think we did, but like I've got a big distraction in my lap, so I think I skipped it. But we'll answer both of those. So, Martha says, "I don't think you didn't name the previous question," and Martha thinks she got it first. So let's go to do that. So I see a lot of let's find Martha's. I wish there was an easier way to like find people's previous. All right, Martha did have it. London and Tokyo. So remember, Tokyo went with only elites, and people thought it was super weird. But they ran the regular course, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And like there weren't supposed to be any spectators out, but occasionally you would see some spectators like in masks. Stop doing that to the cable, please. I know you love touching that cable, but that hurts my ears every time you touch it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's connected to my ears.
Oh.
So that's why if you tug on that, it tugs on my ears. Okay. Yeah, but London went early in the year, and then I remember watching that and thinking, don't tug on that cable either, that there was just so much confetti at that race. There was just confetti. There just seemed to be confetti cannons everywhere along the course. I don't know, maybe that's just how I remember it, but it seems a little bit odd. And then London did get to go on a modified route where they went. That's right. On a modified route. So there's the answer to that one. Sorry about that, guys. I am just all over the place. Then, question 5, other than the 6 marathon majors, what other event or events qualifies for World Marathon Major scoring for the elites, for the pros? Joshua says Moscow. No. Carlos wants to know, is it the Great Half? Nope. Let's see.
Farther.
Need to go up farther. Okay. Let's see. Did anyone have it? Martha's kind of got it. Olympics. The Olympics, if there's an Olympics that year, your finishing place in the Olympics counts towards World Marathon, like the Abbott
What about
series
that?
scoring. Oh, Teddy Man, you want me to put on that one or this one? Sue N said, made it in time for baby sighting. Nice. Okay. The other one is that there's actually a World Athletics Championship, and it's one of those like closed loop courses. There aren't like regular people that are on it. Okay, that's too loud. You can't yell into that. And so it's kind of like just a regular race unto itself, which I think is super fun. I don't think I've ever watched one before. I've never even been aware that they've had it.
No.
Okay. I think it's time for you to go. You're getting a little bit out of control, okay? All right, go play with your sister. All right. Sorry, I could not focus. There's a lot of baby here. But it could be one of those two things. So like it's every other year they do that World Athletics Championship race. And then, every 4 years there's a marathon. And so the way the calendar works out, every once in a while there isn't any 7th event, or I think 8th event is technically how the calendar lines up. But that 7th event, but sometimes there isn't one. So I didn't even know that. But I was looking it up and I'm like, what is this other event? So I thought I threw it into the trivia for today. All right. Not really. Hank Aaron wants to know if there's going to be vaccines at the finish line for any of the events, or if there's going to be, cool. Yeah, Martha had it. World Championship. Cool. And what else was not really Hank Aaron saying? Will marathoners be vaccinated? Yeah, I don't know what the policy is going to be for these races. Like, you're going to have proof of vaccination. I have a feeling that for a lot of these races, these world marathon majors, that's going to be like the big issue in terms of whether they actually have them or not. Is, what's the vaccination status going to be? Is the vaccination status in the city going to be high enough where they feel comfortable inviting the world over for the weekend? And what is like kind of the global situation like? So if people are coming from all over the world, how are they getting here? And what's the situation like where they're coming from? So what are travel restrictions generally like? And then I think the other thing to think of is it like, well, a lot of airlines are saying that they're going to require travelers to have proof of vaccination before they allow them to fly to certain places like later on, so there might be things that kind of like the race might not require it, but it might be, as a practical matter, in order to get to the race that you might have to be, unless you're domestic, and you drove over. So that's kind of like the one thing to think about, I think, for some of these races. Because I've been thinking about like, well, I do want to do kind of a tune-up. I'd like to get in like a spring training block, nothing super intense, but like just something that ends with a marathon effort. And I'm like, that's probably going to have to be virtual because, I'm just not going to bank on being able to go to a race, even if it is like in June. So that's something to think about.
Birthday cake.
All right. Lewis thinks that the baby is going to be a future YouTuber. Maybe. She made me a birthday cake now out of Play-Doh and a pencil. Awesome.
It's the candle.
Oh, it's a candle. Ready? I'll blow it out. Ready?
It's out. Yeah.
It's out. All right. Thanks. Can you make one for your sister? Thanks. All right. Let's do, let's get to the, because, where did it go? No. James Voss says a post-run crazed bar might become a tradition. These are pretty good. So let's do the giveaway. We'll do it by answering a trivia question. And I've been trying to make it so it's not something that you can Google. And the question seems kind of like, it's not something I've ever discussed before. It seems a little bit kind of narcissistic maybe, but I did it so that way it's just something that can't be Googled, and it stays on the theme of World Marathon Majors. First person that gets it right, I have a city in mind. I won't write it down, but you guys will just have to trust me that I already have a city in mind for this. So basically the question is, you have to pick a city. First person to guess the city is going to be right. But the question is, if there were a 7th marathon major, like if they added a new one, like they added Tokyo, where do I think it should be? And then we can talk about where you guys think it would be. But for the purpose of the giveaway, if you want to win the rest of this box, the other 11 bars in this pack of Crazed Foods bars, where do I think it's going to be? All right, we got lots of answers coming in to Chicago. A second one in Chicago, maybe like a spring Chicago, 2 marathon majors. That's funny. Mark Peterson says Paris. I think that makes a lot of sense, but that's not what I had in mind. Carlos thinks Shanghai. I do think that there's a high likelihood that if there is an additional marathon major, it would be somewhere in East Asia. I think I did. Because I think the sponsor is still Abbott, but it's also some other like Chinese company. So that's also donating a lot of money. So I feel like there eventually could be some pressure to do that. But I think that would be super cool. LA would be interesting, but I'm not going to be picking another like US location for another marathon major. I mean, I think there should be a thing called US major for sure. That's something that we've talked about on the live stream before. Steven 26 says New Vienna. If they had any, I'd be thrilled if New Vienna had a turkey trot. That I'd be happy with that. We don't need a world marathon major. I don't think the city could handle it. Mark says Toronto. I think that would be a good choice, an interesting choice. What a good choice. Ryan says Amsterdam. Interesting. Raynor says Old Vienna, Austria. I've never been, but I hear it's a beautiful city. I'd like to visit. Mumbai says Carlos. Now you're getting closer to kind of like where I'm thinking. Kind of. And then Rio, Martha said Rio. That's not geographically close, but like as far as like the reasoning that I have for it, the closest. No one's gotten it yet. Still a couple of really good options. And it says Dubai. Where'd it go? It moved as soon as it said. And it said Dubai. EL said Dubai. That's also would probably make. I've been what's up with it? I've been seeing a lot of pro athletes are training in the Middle East right now. I don't understand. I mean, I guess the weather's really great, but Mike House says Comrades Marathon in South Africa. I don't think that they would put that in the World Marathon Majors because not at 26.2. But yeah, let's see what else we got in here. No one picked it up yet. Let's see. If I don't see it right away, I think someone's close enough that I think it could work. Oh, someone's got it. Let me see if there's anyone that's earlier than that. Ben Weiss says Pyongyang Marathon. That's interesting. There is a marathon there. The North Koreans always win every year. Let's see. Raynor says Homedale, New Jersey. Wouldn't that be something? You just got to run 8 loops around the Homedale Park course. All right. I don't see it other than where'd it go? Okay. Sorry if someone else has it, but I did see it a little bit further down. Oh boy, where is it? Now I got to scroll back down to find it. Someone had it. Oh, so David Lidson was very close, but Runner Geese, Sydney, Australia. I just felt like Sydney would make a lot of sense for if there was another marathon major. I think the Sydney Marathon is usually in the fall, like October. But I was thinking it's Southern Hemisphere, and it's pretty warm all year round in Sydney, I think. And so that's something that we could put at a different place in the calendar, like February. So if you got like New York in November, then you can maybe, if Sydney was willing to move its marathon to like February, that would make a lot of sense. It's a big city. It could handle that many tourists. It had an Olympics before. And so I just feel like that would make a lot of sense to me to have one there. My second kind of thought was Rio, because Brazil is a country that loves running. There isn't one in South America, there isn't one in Africa or in Australia either. So I was just thinking what are places that doesn't have one where we could capture a lot of new runners and interest. So that's why I was thinking Sydney would make a lot of sense. So Running Geese, if you want to email me, my email is code.mike, M-I-K-E, @gmail, and give me some contact information. I will get you these bars, and I hope you enjoy. All right. Thanks, everybody. So of the places that you guys guessed, where would you guys want that to be? Is it, were you guys just picking places that you'd want to go for where you would want to go for a 7th marathon, or one that maybe you would have a better chance at going to? Yeah. Mark says you can't buy the crazed peanut butter coffee bars on Amazon. Yeah, they're sold out. So they've been selling out real fast. Yeah. EL wants to go to Toronto. I keep talking about it, but I do want to go visit Toronto. I feel like it's a city that I will like a lot, just because people tell me it's very similar to Chicago, but it also has kind of an East Coast feel to it too, in a good way. Paul R said Reykjavik. That'd be a cool place. Dude, is there a marathon there? I know that there's like a big a cycling race around the island, right? Isn't there? Something like that. But so there is endurance racing up there, but I don't know. Is there an Icelandic marathon? That'd be fun. Ben, I said I10. I mean, I think that would make sense. Kind of like, having like the Olympics in Greece. Not that the marathon originated in Kenya, but like I just feel like because like the African continent, they've been so successful in marathon and half marathon racing, it just would make sense to have a big race there. But like, could I10 handle like 50,000 marathoners and then all their guests? Like, would the airports be able to handle that? That's another thing. I don't know. Maybe it could easily, but I'm just not familiar with how things are like that. Scott wants to go to Lake Tahoe. I've never been to the Lake Tahoe area. It looks beautiful from all the pictures. And Christek says Vancouver is more scenic, but isn't Vancouver really hilly? So I feel like for all the World Marathon majors, it has to be a flat course. I don't know if Sydney's flat, but I would assume that they could probably. I thought they could do it, but isn't Vancouver really hilly?
Look, I'm looking backwards.
What are you doing? Okay. All right. Jana says Kosiš. Am I saying it right? Would be interesting. It's in East Slovakia, and their marathon, the Peace Marathon, is one of the oldest in Europe. It's also a very beautiful city. Oh, that sounds interesting. I like that idea. Very cool. He says, I'd love to go to Sydney. I just have no desire to spend half of my life on a plane to get there. But think about it. There's people in Australia that are running. There's people in Southeast Asia that are running, that are going, literally halfway around the world, or to the other side of the world, halfway around the world, to go to their World Marathon majors. And I just feel like, spread the love a little bit. But, I guess, you got to think of it from like, how do you make sure it sells out every year? How do you make sure that it,
I want chocolate milk.
In just a moment, how do you make sure that like, it makes money every year, that the sponsors are happy? And, I think that kind of also narrows it down a little bit. Musa says a Mount Everest marathon would be nice. That'd be crazy. But I think that that's your sister. But that would be like a different kind of marathon series, kind of like the Golden Trail or something like that. Steven says, I'm running Slovakia. Peace. Nice. And Frank says, people fly from everywhere for the Kona Ironman. That's certainly true. Good point. So it could be anywhere, just like like pick it on location and build it and they will come. I like that idea. Awesome. AAQ says, I wish we can get one in the Middle East, but the weather might be a problem. Yeah, I mean, when they did the Diamond League, was it the World Championships that year in Doha? They started that race at midnight, and then it still seemed like half the field dropped out, and that was of the elites because it was just so hot, and they had like ice, not only like their elite water tables, but they had like ice buckets with the sponges, so you can like put it in your singlet, wear it underneath your hat, squeeze it on top of yourself. So yeah, so there's definitely could be some issues with the heat depending on the time of year. But also think about it, like a lot of the world, at least the northern hemisphere, February is very cold. Even April in Boston is like, I don't know why they do it in Boston in April, but like I guess they've always done it, but tends to not be a very predictable weather time of year for Boston. So I just feel like if they did it in February in a place where you're going to get something warm, I just think that'd be nice. All right. James Voss says one of the majors should be hilly, I think. Like how the French Open in tennis is played on clay. Yeah, I mean, I do suppose in like tennis they've got like one on clay, on grass, all sorts of different surfaces. That'd be interesting to have a hilly one. Yeah, but I mean, I guess if there were like a hilly one, maybe, I mean, maybe the championship, the world championship is one that gets done in like a hilly location. That would be amazing. Can you imagine if there were like the World Athletics or the IAAF World Championship marathon race in Iten? It's at altitude. It can be hilly. Can you imagine that? It'd just be like just an ultimate, just like gauntlet. It'd be kind of like the U.S. Olympic marathon trials course, that super hilly course on an extremely windy day, but just like to the next degree. Just oh man, that'd be really interesting to watch. I think you're onto something, James. Very cool. All right. Yeah, and Martha says hilly courses are covered by all the ultras. That's true. But I wonder if like, with everyone talking about how so many people are coming to the trails and how trail running is going to come back first of all the different races from COVID. Like, I wonder if we'll start to see a shift from like trail ultras to just trail marathons and trail halves, maybe even like trail 10 mile or trail 10K, or do they continue to get combined with like, trail race weekend where you can run like the 20K, 40K, and like 50K and then 100K, like maybe they do it like that. I don't know. But I, for one, will definitely be looking out for more kind of trail racing opportunities because I just think it'll be really fun. I keep hearing about how good the vibe is afterwards, like in the post race. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that. All right. I think with that, I'm going to get going for today. The kids, as you've seen, are a little bit antsy. So we have been enjoying hanging out, going for a little bit of walk around the neighborhood, both at lunch. And now that it's snowing, they might want to hop outside again before it gets too dark. So I'm going to get going. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the Craft Ultra Carbon that I ran in today under some pretty rough conditions, about as like rigorous as I can get here in Chicago. I mean, it's pretty flat. It's not trail. It's not hilly, but I feel like I was able to put it through some paces today. So that'll be tomorrow. And then we'll do another live stream, 3 p.m. Central Time, same time, right here on YouTube. Hopefully I'll see you guys again. In the meantime, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.